Hey, Wendy's, Mike O'Toole here, your franchise operations coach. And I know some have poked a little bit of fun at me because when I do these videos, I always say that I'm excited. But you know what? I am excited because these general managers today, they're leading the way and they deserve so much appreciation and credit for what they've done within our 5 strategic pillars. With that said, welcome to our Period 1 General Manager BDP Roundtable, where we celebrate and recognize our top GMs, as well as give them a platform to share with us some of their best demonstrated practices. Now, without wasting any time, let's get right into it. Leading in our pillar of a fun and energizing place to work is Randall Brown and 333 Extra Cheese out in Elk City, Oklahoma. He's joined on the call with his district manager, Dirk Michaels, leading in both great restaurant experiences and fast food done right. Both of those pillars. Nick Molt is leading the way with Meritage, Oklahoma, and El Reno, Oklahoma. He and his district manager, Stephen Thomas, they're out digging out of the snow in Oklahoma City today. So today they're unfortunately not able to make the call, but I wanted to make sure I recognize literally perfect performance because in the last 90 days, every single survey that's come in for this location was perfect. A perfect 100% in all categories. What an outstanding job. So congratulations, Nick. We missed you this period, but I'm sure you're going to be at the top of the list in some way many times in the future. So keep it up. Leading big in breakfast, we have Michelle Wing with Wind Plains. It's a division of Windspoke, and her district manager, Stacy Hubbard. Leading in our Profit Means Growth pillar is Michael McMaster with Cotty Foods in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he's joined by his district manager, Chris Blunt. And finally, the leader in the combined U.S. business plan with amazing performances in all 5 pillars is our top GM for Period 1, Terry Nichols from Independence, Missouri with Legacy Restaurant Group. Now, he's joined by his district manager, Eric Miller, and director from Legacy Restaurant Group, Mo. But so as we get started here, there he is.
Hey, listen, I before you get started recording, I'm sorry, I was having trouble connecting there, so I apologize for, jumping in a little bit late, but wow, I tell you, it's so exciting to be with this group of tremendous leaders. You mind if I take a second before you get cranking? And
absolutely. I thought you jumped on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great to see you guys. Obviously, all of you, as well as we, are working through some pretty tough conditions, right, as we speak today, trying to keep our restaurants up and running. And you're doing that each and every day in your own ways, in spite of, weather or COVID or any other pressures that we get, externally. And I'm just so proud of the work that you're doing. And when you think about, Mike, I don't want to repeat what you may have already said, but you go across each of our strategic pillars, and each of you as individual leaders are casting an awfully big shadow, guys, with respect to the way you're delivering customer experiences, the way you're really driving performance on sales and profit. Most importantly, the way you're unlocking your people capabilities in your restaurants. When I look at all of you and the way you're looking at We Learn and Manager We Learn and the health and safety training that we need to continue to really be excellent at. I mean, when you add it all up and stack it all up for me, whether it's all the way from Elk City, Oklahoma to Independence, Kansas, you guys are absolutely the strongest leaders we have in the division. And it's not just a one kind of flash in the pan deal to me. You are stacking up performance that is consistent, period over period over period. We're just happen to recognize you this period for, some specific performance and results that falls underneath certain pillars. But wow, you guys are really delivering and driving, great consistency for the brand. And I appreciate you for all that you're doing. The responsibility, think about leadership. Before you guys became leaders, it was all about really growing yourself, right? Now that you're leaders and you've got responsibility for 2 million plus businesses, it's all about growing other people. And so what you're doing is not just about delivering great result, it's about growing the talent and the people capabilities that you have with you. And that's big. And that will be a legacy that'll stand for a long time. So I just wanted to say thanks and really join you here and listen to all these best practices and the way you guys are actually going about delivering. And so, Mike, I'll step back. I'll be quiet and, just kind of follow through with the recording. Great job, guys. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you jumping in. I know you're busy and had a bunch of stuff like surrounding this call, and I know you were going to try to jump in, and I really appreciate you jumping in. These managers deserve it, and I think you're absolutely right. They've been driving results for quite some time. So we understand if you got to jump off, but thank you very much for coming in and saying hi. But we'll go ahead and start here, guys. This is the general managers' best demonstrated practices roundtable. So what we're going to do here is we're going to celebrate the general managers in this mid-central Dallas territory that they're driving each one of these pillars. So fast food done right, big in breakfast, profit means growth. All those 5 pillars is what we're driving here. And I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. I know that we've got 2 managers that weren't able to make it today just because of weather and different things that they're dealing with, but we've got a great group here, and let's go ahead and start out with fun and energizing work environment with Randall Brown. Randall, why don't you come up front here and unmute? Now you're leading in the fun and energizing place to work out in Elk City, Oklahoma. Where we're tracking in that pillar is we learn training, health and safety scores, friendliness scores, and cleanliness scores. You're leading with 14 certifications for your managers. Crew members are at 19, 81.6 health and safety, but a 92% friendliness score out in Elk City. That's just incredible. And cleanliness at 75. Overall, you are leading in that pillar. And Randall, why don't you come off mute? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you think you're driving those results out in Elk City, Oklahoma.
I'm Randall. I've worked here for 3 years. Just working with my managers and making sure when we bring in our new crew members that we're training them, that they're watching as many wheel-learns as they can before we set them on the line. So that way they're not just going out on the line and just, what do I do? What do you want me to do? How many fries should I drop? Stuff like that. So,
yeah, what an important piece of training is those first few days, right? Those first few days of training are just so critical because sometimes we create rocks in our new team members where they're just tight and they don't know what to do and they're not trained properly. We want to create sponges, right? So when we sit them down, we learn do the first 2 corners of the 4-corner training. Get them some information, then get them on the line and work with them. They become more comfortable, so they engage with the customers faster. They're more comfortable. They're going to execute more consistently, right? But I think the most important part, Randall, and you probably experienced this, is they're happier, right? And a happy, yes, fun and energizing work environment with trained people that know what they're doing, and the guy next to him knows what he's doing. The girl next to her knows what she's doing. They stay longer too. So there's retention benefits there. This training piece is just so critically important. And I hear you say that the first 3 days of training that you really want to drive the proper WeLearn training and certifications. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Randall. Well, you're doing a great job out there. I'm sorry. Did you want to say one more thing?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, good. It was kind of lagging there, and I didn't know if you wanted to say something else. But Randall, we appreciate you. I always say that fun and energizing place to work, leading in this category, is the foundation of some great things to come. So I think sales and customer employee retention and customer satisfaction is just going to follow behind this great performance in period 1. So thanks very much, Randall. I appreciate you being here, and I know Scott Michaels is on the call, or is that Dirk Michaels? Sorry, Dirk Michaels is on the call, and he's here to support you. He's your district manager, and just appreciate you very much, man.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Randall. Well, let's go ahead and move on to Big in Breakfast, where we're going to go way out to the Great Plains of the state of Kansas in McPherson, Kansas. We've got Stacy Hubbard, who's a district manager for Michelle Wing. And Michelle, you are just killing it out there in breakfast. Big in Breakfast is maybe not even explaining it properly. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are at 15% of sales out in McPherson, and then any customer surveys that come in, it's 100%. So all your breakfast surveys are 5, top box, extremely satisfied. Tell us a little bit about you and just kind of the things you're doing out there in McPherson, Kansas, driving those breakfast sales?
Well, my name is Michelle. I've been in with Wendy's for 7 years now. It's more about training. It's more about the leadership and making sure you're being efficient every day. You have it down. Your suggestive selling to your customers, getting to know your customers. The more that you know your customers, they're wanting to come back and hey, this is a friendly, fast, efficient place to be. It's more about being in a sense of urgency, and it's more about having fun and being engaged. It really, really is about the training and the leadership. The better leadership you have, the better it's going to go for your crew and for your customers.
Well,
They
you know,
love to see smiling faces.
yes, absolutely. So what's interesting is I hear you talking about the training piece again, right? Is that everybody's
Yes.
got to be trained properly. So let's
yeah.
get the training knocked out of the way. You guys have a dedicated, trained, and recognized breakfast manager out there, and you put a premium on that training. But what I also heard you say is this speed of service piece, right? Because breakfast, it's a day part we're trying to build. So using the bin charts, making sure that we're batch cooking and that we're ready for the guest is really key to driving breakfast sales. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
And what that does is it takes leadership, because it's a little bit different than what we're used to, right? So what we're used to is a little less more often, fresh product, those kind of things. But our menu development team, they did such a great job. We have the best breakfast on the planet right now. So we've got that going for us. We just got to be ready, right? Batch cook, use those bin charts, be ready for the guests, speed of service, and the best way to get those things is through training. And that's kind of what I'm hearing you say. Is that correct?
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate what you guys are doing. And then also, Stacy, I see you back there in the corner. You guys in general are doing an outstanding job as a group in breakfast out in central Kansas. So keep it up, keep driving those breakfast sales. I know Dodge City was on our call last month. So you guys are breakfast kings and queens out in central Kansas, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
And appreciate it. Keep it up. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to move on to Profit Means Growth. And Profit Means Growth, we've got Michael McMaster, District Manager Chris Blunt out there. I know Harvey's on the call too, but I just see the JG there. Harvey doesn't come off camera very often. Hopefully he'll come off camera here. We'll see him one of these district manager, GM, BDP roundtables. But Michael, you guys out in Tulsa, Oklahoma are driving sales. And one thing that we know about sales, it's probably the most lagging number that we track, right? The things you're doing today are usually a result of the hard work and foundation.
So we lost Mike, didn't we?
53% of sales. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah. 53% up in sales. Let us know a little bit more about you and how you're doing.
Well, I've started with Wendy's in 1995. I worked in a lot of different units. I was a training store manager for about 8 of those years. So I've had the opportunity to help develop some of the leaders in this market. I was around when they rolled out the service excellence roadmap years ago, and it brought things back really to a simple time where you keep things basic and use the systems that work, that have been proven to work, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just keep it basic, and we strive to execute 14 shifts that are great every week. So
I love
we
that.
do that. We close the gap, and sometimes we have 7, 10, but we keep trying to close the gap on the good ones versus the bad ones.
Yeah,
to help drive sales.
Well, that's incredible. One little thing I heard you say there is about keeping it simple and basic, right? The
Right.
famous coach Vince Lombardi, right? He was Super Bowl winning teams. These guys are the best of the best in high school, then the best of the best in college, and now they're the best of the best in the NFL. And one of the practices, he had to take the boys back and go, boys, this is a football, because you just got to get back to the simple and deep, the most basic and foundational things of our business. And where does that lie? That lies in the quality triangle, right?
Right.
And serving the fresh food hot. Sometimes we complicate our business, and what I'm hearing you say is we're just nailing the most impactful things in our business.
Right. We just try to keep it burgers and fries, and it's got to be that simple. People expect excellence, and if we can provide them with that on a regular basis, then we'll win them over, so they can come through and know that they're going to get through fast.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I saw Michael Gist come up when we started talking about sales. So I don't know if you wanted to say something there, Mike, or not.
Well, I think all of you would agree that sales are king, right? I mean, if everything flows from sales leverage, and I think your point about it being a lag indicator is a really important piece, because as leaders, we have to be thinking about the right lead measures that are going to deliver and correlate to sales down the road. And sometimes sales will lag, 9, 12, 18 months. You have to make sure that you're disciplined and your vision as a leader is driving the right lead measures now. So, Michael, really appreciate what you're doing to just keep it simple, keep it basic, and more power to the service excellence basics too, because those were tried and true and they worked, and a lot of those fundamentals are in the playbook today. So great to hear you referring to those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Michael, I agree. I'm not going to try to follow that up. Well said. And we appreciate what you're doing out. Keep it going in Tulsa. And I'm appreciative that you came on and kind of shared a little bit about what's driving those numbers out in Tulsa for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And then now to our last person. This is the manager that, when you take all 5 of our strategic pillars for our U.S. 2021 strategic business plan, this person is kind of hitting the top 2, 3 in each pillar, right? So overall, this is the best managed restaurant in period 1, and right here, Terry Nichols is right here with us. He's out of Independence, Missouri. He's here with his district manager, Eric Miller, and I know Mo is on the call as well to help support Terry and to congratulate him. And Terry, you're doing a great job out there, man. You led 168 restaurants in my territory, and that's a big feat, and that's a very important thing. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you have been putting in a lot of work in the last 4, 5, 6 months. I'm not sure how long you've been there, but you came into a situation that needed a leader, and you showed up at the right time, and the results are just pouring in right now for you guys in Independence. So Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let us know what you're doing out there in Independence.
Okay. My name is Terry. I've been with Wendy's for about a year and a half. I took over the store in about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and I started simple, just kind of making sure we're doing things the right way and making sure we're getting training done correctly and stuff like that. And by doing that, relying on my managers as well, making sure we're having fun as well, because that's really important to get all those stuff that can be really monotonous done for you if you don't have fun doing it. And just keep following up with them and following up and just make it happen. And the guests, it took them a while, but now they're all seeing it and they're coming back day in, day out now.
Yeah, sometimes our guests need to see consistency, right? They just need to see consistency. And I think that's something that you're delivering out there. And I'm going to guess, and I heard you say it too, I heard fun. I heard keep it fun. And that's kind of a theme that keeps cropping up in the successful operated restaurants and Wendy's, is when we start talking about how fun things are. And I was in a restaurant not too long ago, and there was a big zone of defection, right? And one thing that we identified through the Wendy's Done Right visit was it's just fun. Let's make it more fun. And once they started doing that with the crew members and the shift managers, and it was just more fun, the zone of defections kind of faded away. It was kind of incredible. And I hear you saying, as the leader in period 1, that a fun environment is a critical driver to being able to deliver great restaurant experiences, right?
Absolutely. It
Well,
makes it pro if you don't have.
what are some of the ways now? Say I was a general manager and I want to do fun, right? What do I need to do? What would you encourage me to do? And I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what if I want to show up in my restaurant tomorrow and I want to change the culture? I want to start having fun. Let's start having fun. What would you suggest I do?
Well, it starts with having some really good pre-shift meetings, and kind of put your expectations up there. Maybe have some fun contests in store level and something like that. Can keep it a little competitive with everyone, and just constantly coaching and talking and laughing with the crew and having a good time with it, and engage the customers sometimes even. That's how to make it fun for everyone. And like last week, we were having a little contest to see who could get, or a couple weeks ago rather, see who could get the most surveys in, and whoever got the most surveys or recognized on them, I told them I would wash the car for them, and not take them to a car wash, but obviously the snow helps me not have to do that anymore. But just having fun like that.
Just having fun, and what I hear you saying a little bit is it's an intentional behavior. You've got to walk in and do it. Right? You choose your attitude, you choose your reaction, you choose how you're going to walk into a restaurant. And I think Mo, we got Mo on the call here. Mo, I don't know if you mind coming forward and just kind of giving us a little bit of your perspective here on what's really driving results out there in independence as well.
Well, Terry is a great leader. One of the things I live by is that your guest experience will never exceed your team members' experience. And that's what Terry is great at. He creates a great experience for his team members. Every team member, every shift. How is that for really delivering and setting up an environment, energized environment to where you create a great experience for every guest, every day part? It really starts with our people, and Terry does a great job. And consistency. I can depend on Terry delivering day in, day out, shift after shift. It's not like he's got really bad days or great days. He's got consistently great days. And it's because the way he handles his people, the way he communicates with them, it's very consistent. Mm-hmm. And he values his people. He's done a great job for us. We are very, very proud and very grateful to have people like Terry on our team.
Yes. And I would agree, just the times that I've been out there with him as well. Thank you, Mo, for bringing that in as well. And Terry, I think you're doing a great job. I think you're going to hang out at the top for a little while. All of you. I mean, Randall, Michelle, Michael, Terry, you guys are doing great. I'm so happy that we were able to get on this call to give you some recognition, to give you that platform to help share your success with other people. I think these are very important videos. And Mike Gist, our division vice president, came on to congratulate you guys as well. I think that's very important. And I mean, with that, Mike, why don't I just hand it off to you for some closing comments and just some congratulations here.
Well, thanks, Mike. Guys, once again, just to keep it brief, consistency is important in what we do, and it's critically important to our customers. So I think for each of you to understand the power in your leadership is not to have one great period and then several underperforming periods, but it's to have a string of periods of performance that you can really begin to build confidence in the customer, build confidence in your team, that your vision is going to be a reality. And that's the first responsibility of any leader, is to translate all this strategic vision into reality and define what that reality looks like for your team, right? The last responsibility of leaders is to say thank you to your people. And I like what Mo was talking about in terms of begins and ends with our people. Say thank you. And everything in between is about being a servant to your people, right? Mm-hmm. So, think about servant leadership in a way that you can really begin to expand your team's capabilities and really empower them to do great things that they don't even think possible. That's the secret of great leadership, is really inspiring others to do things they don't even think they can possibly achieve. And I think the last thing I would say you know, we talk about profitability, and that is a huge measure for each of your organizations, for each of your restaurants, for each of your franchisees. One of the things in our strategy around profit, you know, means growth is unlocking this digital experience. And my challenge to the team is I'd like to see who the first person is going to be across 10% digital sales. That threshold of 10% digital, I'd love to personally come and recognize that team for, you know, the first person that crosses that 10% threshold, because we cannot win going forward, honestly, without really blowing up our digital experiences. So everything you're doing to really focus on mobile, on delivery, on carry out, on curbside, activation and execution against that is a huge growth enabler for the brand. So, you know, my challenge is let's get to 10%. You know, it was great to see, you know, the team. I think, Terry, you were right at 6% digital sales for the period. That's a good, strong number, right? You know, the division result is about 6.5, but we need to get to 10 in a hurry. So all things digital, press the accelerator down. Before you know it, you know, we'll be like Michelle and Stacy out there doing 15+% breakfast mix. We'll be doing 10+% digital mix. So let's get after it. That's the challenge I have for you. And thank you guys so much for what you're doing. What tremendous results. I just really appreciate you for that.
I love it. Thank you, Mike, for that. And thank you all for jumping on this call. Dirk Michaels, Randall, Michelle and Stacy out there in McPherson, Michael and Chris, thank you. And Terry and obviously Eric, your district manager, Mo, and Mike Guest, thank you guys for jumping on this call. I appreciate it. Go out there and keep leading the way. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Take care.